goes. My little chicken greenhouse, and if you'd like to learn how to build this little thing, stay tuned, because my wife and I is going to show you how to do it right now. Anyways, show you here what we got. Got some 1/2-inch pipe by 10 feet, a couple tools here, some screws. I don't think we're going to need a whole lot of materials, and later we'll put the plastic on. Stay tuned. That may be the only cut you have to do. Now the wifey, she came up with this idea of drilling holes and then putting the pipe in there, and I thought, oh, that's a pretty good idea. And it was tempting to take credit for it, trust me. Alright, so our materials that we purchased were 3 2x4 by 10 feet long, and we cut 1 in half, which gave us the 4 sides, which, 10, which, the dimensions wound up being 5 by 10, 5 wide, 10 long. And we purchased, the 2x4s are like $6 or $8 a piece, so like 20 some dollars in total for the 2x4s. 10-foot sticks of the 1/2-inch PVC, schedule 40. I don't think we paid much for that. It was like $12, $11, $12. Good. For the whole thing. So with the plastic and everything and the screws, I would imagine you'd probably build this for under $100. So obviously here we had to take out the screws before we drilled the holes, which worked out pretty good, because the holes obviously looked like it might have made a weak spot there on the ends, which putting the screw back in definitely fixed things, strengthened it anyway. So 2-foot centers is what we chose to drill our holes at, and subsequently put the ribs in. So
oops.
So there's like 5 total ribs. And then of course you're gonna put one right there.
3/16.
13/16.
13/16.
Yeah.
Oh yeah, there it is.
Yeah, so 13/16 paddle bit was the perfect size, as it turns out. If I had this to do over again, I would definitely chamfer the ends of the pipe to slide them in the holes better, because they're actually pretty tight. Like we had to kind of wiggle them around to get them in there. So, but it really worked out good, and no other attachment method. All right, so we just got some regular duct tape, and that's what we're going to use to duct tape the ribs on. We're going to come back and screw them. Yeah, so my idea was to put the duct tape on and kind of temporarily hold things. And then I knew it would take a little bit more than the duct tape, but it just didn't work out. Okay, so the duct tape seemed like it was a good idea until we tried to use it. We're going to go ahead and just put the screws in. I'm showing 1 1/4-inch screws here on that box, which wound up being a little short. I think 1.5 inches would have been probably perfect, and perhaps even pre-drill the first pipe before it went into the second pipe might be a good idea. But all in all, it seemed to hold pretty good. And also I would use coarse thread screws. The ones I showed were the fine thread drywall screws. Coarse thread I think would have bit a little bit better. So, this greenhouse basically, 2 weeks prior to building this, we had, over a foot of snow, and it was well into the minus. And the chickens didn't want to come out of the greenhouse, or excuse me, their chicken coop. They took one look at the snow and they just wouldn't do it. And so I thought, well, maybe if we built a greenhouse, keep and put it right in front of the entrance where they could walk through the greenhouse and have a door on the far side. On a nice day, they could just walk all the way out and forage as usual. But, if it snowed, they could stay inside the greenhouse and at least they'd have a dry place. And if the sun shined, it would be the, give the added benefit of a little bit of warmth. Which a friend of mine actually did something similar. He didn't build a plastic greenhouse. He actually built an addition onto his chicken coop, which wound up being, he used like double pane glass. He went real fancy with it, but the chickens really thrived in it, and it created a nice warm environment on sunny days and gave the chickens some relief from the cold, which I don't even know if the cold affects them. It doesn't seem to. I know they can get frostbite on their toes on extra cold days, so I just figured keeping them out of the snow is ideal. At least giving them the option whether they want to go out or come in and warm up. I mean, I know chickens aren't the smartest bird in the world, but I at least owe it to them to build them an environment that they can have if they choose to be in it. And we've also placed the chicken coop in the greenhouse, in the garden, and we're going to place the greenhouse in the garden as well for the chickens to be in. And so while they're foraging all winter long, they're going to give us the added benefit of the fertilizing of the garden. So, we used a hammer tacker to initially tack all the plastic down. I do not expect that to hold. So we later added some battens, some like 1x2 battens, and then screwed them to the bottom like I'm showing you right now. And that's going to give you a real foolproof method of fastening it. That's not going to come off. I've had a few places in my glassed-in room, as you can, the glass on the right-hand side there, but I didn't get the south side, and so we put plastic over it, and I attached it in the same method, and it was a big piece of plastic, and we had high winds and never had a problem, not once. It held up just fine. Made a heck of a racket when it would blow, because plastic would, get sucked in, and then it would get blown in and make a real loud popping sound. I don't know if I would recommend that on a house like we did it, but it seemed to get us through the rainy season anyways. But yeah, so when those screws go in, and they suck up that 1x2, that makes a nice mechanical, it compresses that plastic very tightly. And so it's not just relying on, the screw itself, which can be torn out easily, or a staple, but actually a larger portion of the plastic that's actually pinched in between the 2x4 and the batten. And hey, if you like the video, we should appreciate that thumbs up. That's the best way to support us, and feel free to subscribe and give us a comment as well. Thank you for watching.
How long did that take us, Lisa?
About an hour and 10 minutes. And so we're doing this because we already had a couple freezes. We had some snow, and I think about a couple, I don't know, about 100 miles from here, on by the park, there it was like minus 18. So my chickens won't come out. Snow is foreign to them, and so we built this.
There was 12 inches of snow here 2 weeks ago.
Yeah.
And it was minus over here as well. So we made a little greenhouse, and we thought the chickens could enjoy a little bit warmer weather during the day, as long as the sun's shining. So that's why we did it. And hey, if you like our videos, be sure to hit that subscribe button and give us a thumbs up,
And tell us what you'd do different maybe on if you were to build the same greenhouse down there in the comments. Thanks a lot.